In today's workout, I combined the Hexbar with the Landmine, and it gave rise to 5 Landmine exercises that I've never done before, and probably you've never done before. And so if that's your kind of thing, stick around till the mid portion of the video, and I'll have timestamps to it, so if you want to skip ahead, skip ahead. I started the workout with some arms, so yeah, if you don't want to stick around for that, you can just skip ahead. But yeah, if this is your first time on the channel, subscribe, and if you like the video, enjoy.
I feel like doing arms again today. And starting off with the same exercise as yesterday. I kind of want to do a full body thing. I feel like burning or just going on a calorie burn massacre tonight. And I'm gonna start off with a bunch of supersets and trisets for arms. And then once the arms are exhausted, maybe I'll move into legs and stuff. And then towards the ending, do some chest and back and sled and abs. I have the next few days or next 2 weeks off pretty much from work, and so I can pretty much not give a shit about time for a few days. And when I have time like that, I like to really have fun at the gym. You don't have to stand there. You just had to check if I was in frame and then adjust it, and then you could do whatever.
I'm doing my due diligence over.
Okay. No. The way I like to train my arms is that I do high rep ranges for my triceps and then relatively low rep ranges for the bicep. That doesn't mean I don't train high rep ranges on either, but more often than not, the exercises that I pick or the rep ranges that I pick for the triceps are in the higher rep range, and then the ones that I pick for biceps are in the lower rep range. So for example, in this exercise, I'm doing I'm just going to failure. I'm not even really counting the number of reps on the tricep pushdowns, but I'm assuming at the end of each set, it's at least around 20 to 30 reps each hand. And then immediately after that, going into the overhand presses is again more volume on the tricep, but in the low weight, high rep range. And for biceps, I'm doing 5 curl to presses. Yeah, so 5 reps, relatively low reps compared to the triceps, supersetting those two. After the rows, please adjust the camera. So after a superset of arms, I'm doing 1-arm rows, but like in a weird stance. The reason I paused was it's not exactly a 1-arm row, but There is something, I don't know, I call it the Curtsy one arm row, but I'm sure the jury is out to get me on that. But anyway, the fact that the right leg is bent and then at an angle, it forces the glute or the IT band to be in a stretch position. This in turn stretches the lat from bottom down or whatever, and then the cable is pulling the lat from the top up, and so it gets this dual stretch, which really helps stretch the lats vertically, in my opinion, giving you a good connection look from the lats into the legs. If that sounded like gibberish, I apologize. So notice how the back leg goes at an angle, and I'm almost kind of sitting into it to stretch the IT band, and having my ears in between my shoulder, and rotating the arms or rotating the wrist as I bring the and then going into some Cannonball presses. And then going into some Cannonball presses. That was the third set. I'm gonna do 5 sets of that, maybe 8. Who knows? Just recording the exercise because I did it. For the next exercise, I got a little inventive and decided to put the Hexbar on the landmine, and that allows for deadlifts on the Hexbar or on the landmine, which makes for some interesting angles. So right now I'm doing a staggered deadlift. I'm going for 6 each leg. And then going into suitcase deadlift. Really working the ground up movements. And then going into a quad dominant movement to keep the heart rate high, using a 25-pound kettlebell, but holding it in an offset position, doing 5 reps at each offset. So that's the next movement we're doing. I'm gonna do how many ever sets of that till it feels comfortable, and then switch to something different. The lengths I will go to get an angle. But yeah, so once you figure out the two-hand variation of it, then you can do. So for the next exercise, I'm doing like both legs, but not at staggered. But I'm going to do alternate hands. Going for 5 each hand. Then I'm gonna do staggered, but alternate. So going for 5 each leg. Actually 4 is gonna be plenty. Whew. No. You can take it. Going straight into the squats. So along with staggered deadlifts and all that you can do in the middle of it, you can also do suitcase deadlifts when you're on the inside, and it forces you to come up at an angle that seems to recruit the core a little bit more. You can also do it staggered. Not exactly sure what all is happening with that variation, but I like performing variations. Kind of just freestyling a bunch of different variations of deadlifts. With with adding a hex bar to the landmine setup, there seems to be so many variations that you can do now. So if I hold the bottom handles instead of the top, I'm able to do like almost a Jefferson curl. And it comes at an angle, and it almost feels like a more natural motion for the spine to kind of curl up. So I don't know, kind of liking these Hexbar landmine Jefferson curls. Another thing that you can probably do, or that I did do, was a suitcase deadlift, but on the inside. And it forces you to come up at an angle. There seems to be more contraction on the right side core because it has to bend along with it. To get the weight up. So as opposed to a conventional suitcase deadlift where the core is just stabilizing, I don't think it necessarily contracts. But here it feels like there's a much more prominent contraction element to the obliques. So yeah, we discovered, or at least I discovered this, episode 28. I'm gonna have fun experimenting with this for the next however long. But yeah. So, so another thing that it turns out that you can do on the setup is landmine deadlift, then a row. Deadlift, a row. Deadlift, a row. Deadlift. Yeah, so this is an interesting setup that opens up a lot of exercises. And if that's possible, then you can do the exact same thing staggered. So I'm gonna hold it at the bottom. No, that's gonna be too much. But deadlift, row, deadlift, row, switch legs, deadlift, row, deadlift. So yeah, having the hex bar on the deadlift, that's another variation that I just came up with. Yeah, lots more to come.